Yeah. No, things get complicated when you deal with violence solving problems.
Yeah. I feel like the only time that violence solves problems is like an easy answer.
Yeah.
Is when you're dealing with a wild beast.
Yeah.
Because negotiation is not an option.
Right.
Diplomacy has failed.
Yeah, pretty much. So you got to put that beast down, and if you do that, most likely any other beasts in the area will avoid you for a short period of time.
Yeah.
Which is kind of all you need.
Well, if a beast gets to the point where it's a problem on a social level,
oh god,
it has cleared out everything else near it on the food chain.
Yeah.
Like, even if there's more of them out there, the sheer scale of it means that it's going to be a while before any of them show up.
Yeah, I imagine that's one of the reasons people like the Tarrasque in Breath of Fire. In Dungeons & Dragons, you're familiar with the Tarrasque, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the go fuck yourself monster.
Yeah, it is the monster that the DM throws in when they decide that the players have gotten too cocky. It's the monster that you fight at minimum 17th level, because literally you cannot defeat it until you have Wish or Miracle, one of the strongest magical spell in the game.
The monster that's more used as a set piece than a direct encounter.
Yeah, pretty much.
The who's been paying attention to D&D and who's read the monster manual.
Yeah. Yeah, when you pull that out and all your players go, oh shit, without actually, like, being in character and seeing it. Yeah.
Or it can be used for one of my favorite tricks, and that's you break out the Tarrasque, and then before the players can engage it, you one-shot it with some homebrew bullshit. And it's used as the measuring stick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's throwing the wharf, I believe that trope is called.
Yes.
You pull out the thing everybody knows is tough, and you destroy it in one shot.
It's like, fuck.
Yep.
Here comes the homebrew. It's wearing ancient red dragons and Tarrasques as jewelry.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, pretty much. We homebrewed. Okay, are you familiar with the enemy Mover in the Final Fantasy series?
Yes.
Okay. For those of you who don't know, it is a small ball, and it's usually found in the end game, and it's usually pretty fucking tough. We homebrewed a Mover into D&D at epic levels, and we called it the Pseudo-Plagic Deathmonger, which doesn't mean anything. It just ignore that. We were like 18 years old, and we just thought it sounded hilarious and funny and terribly nasty. And what we decided that it did was it zipped through people at rapid speeds like a bullet and absorbed their life essence. So it did like 200 points of damage a turn on any given person, and it took that much and restored that much health.
That sounds fair.
Yeah. It was the first time any of my characters had ever died in any game was against that thing.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Because I was a paladin, and of course I was up first. Like, I was the one protecting everyone else.
That sounds like some busted bullshit.
Yeah, it was pretty stupid. It was hilarious, but it was stupid. And I think the cleric and the wizard wound up beating it, but yeah. And also it had death throws. So when you killed it, it exploded and did like 100-some damage on everybody in the surrounding area. And keep in mind, D&D, you typically get 100 hit points around level 12 or 13 if you are a martial class. If you're a spellcasting class, you're going to get 100 hit points maybe by level 20, which is the cap. Well, not the cap, but like that's the general cap for D&D when most characters retire or most campaigns end. But we went further. We got to about level 30 before we fought this thing. And so all of our spellcasters took like 100-some damage, and one of them didn't die, but he got really close. The wizard, I think he had like 150 hit points, and he had like 12 left or something. It was ridiculous. But we also homebrewed potions of True Resurrection, which is stupid because True Resurrection is a 10-minute ritual spell that costs 10,000 gold pieces worth of diamond dust. And we just put that in a potion, and then we dumped the potion on the ground every time a person died, and it activated immediately. We were 18. Well, I was 18. Most everybody else was younger than that.
So you basically had revival grenades.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, oh no, party member's down.
Like, the only drawback was that the equipment stayed where it was. So our characters were essentially naked when they got revived, but that was about it. So they just threw a potion of True Resurrection down as soon as I died, and I think I participated in the rest of the battle. Because that's how D&D Resurrection works.
That sounds like a campaign full of dumb bullshit.
Oh, it totally was.
And I've been in some campaigns with some dumb bullshit.
Oh,
that sounds like a lot of some serious dumb bullshit.
Let me put it this way. We had just gotten the Epic Levels Handbook, and we thought it was the coolest thing ever. And so we wanted to try out epic level spells, we wanted to try out like epic level monsters, we wanted to homebrew our own epic level monsters, we were doing all sorts of stuff and experimenting with the game. It was very good training, I'll give it that. But yes, it was full of tons of stupid bullshit. But because of experimentation like that, I'm actually pretty good at homebrewing my stuff just normally now. Yep, really helps as a DM.
Reminds me of one of my favorite Terry Pratchett lines. He was looking at his past self. Could he have ever been such a twerp? But he knew. He had to have been this twerp at some point. Because being a twerp is part of the process of growing up.
Yeah.
You can't become who you are today without being the twerp you were back then.
Exactly. Terry Pratchett's so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Shame he's dead.
He is missed.
Yep. Guy had such a good way with words. He understood the world so well. And people.
I'm going through his witches novels right now.
Fantastic.
You can't make the world better with magic. You can always stop making it bad. And how multiple characters are master wizards and witches, not because they know how to use magic, but they know when to not use magic.
Perfect.
Because it's all well and good to not turn some annoying jerk who cut you off in line into a toad because you don't know how. It's an entirely different story to know how and choose not to.
Yeah. I think it was Winston Churchill who said, "A true gentleman is one who knows how to play the bagpipes, but chooses not to." I mean, he gets misquoted all the time, so it might be someone else, but, like, I really like that one. Do you know how to play the bagpipes?
No.
Aw, that's a real shame. You're not a true gentleman.
No.
Yeah.
I was thinking about playing the bagpipes for a while, but finding one in this part of the world is actually a little tricky.
That's true.
And very expensive.
Yes. Yeah, instruments in general are, but I imagine bagpipes are pretty freaking nasty on the wallet.
Well, it's because they're a specialty instrument, so you have to special order it.
Exactly. It's like getting a contrabassoon.
For a minute there, I was entertaining the idea of playing a theremin, and I went looking around to get a theremin.
Yeah, those seem to be popular lately.
Yeah, they kind of had a revival. And a lot of it, I hate to say, is Big Bang Theory.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because it was featured on an episode. It's like, no.
Yeah. It's just like how certain movies made, like, Fennecs into popular pets.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Just these pop culture things make everybody like, oh, I want one of those.
Well, the thing that makes most things cool is because they're not normal and they require work to get them to do what you want to do. Like, a Fennec is more or less just a hyper-neurotic cat.
Yeah, pretty much. They are adorable.
They are adorable, but they don't make really good pets, and if you want to travel, it's the worst fucking thing in the world.
Yep. Well, and they're loud.
Oh god, yes.
Like, I think that's the part a lot of people don't understand.
And they're foxes, so they smell atrocious.
Also true. Yeah.
Like, I love foxes to death, but holy shit do they make terrible pets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is cute to watch videos of them. It is nice to see them in the wild or at, like, zoos specialized for them. Like that fox farm in Japan where there's like a bajillion of them. It's really adorable to see videos of that, and I imagine it would be great to go there and say hi to them. But, like, actually having one in your life could be a problem.
Yeah. Unless you are prepared to take all the steps necessary.
Yeah, definitely. You need a wide open space because they like to run around. Not fennecs specifically, but foxes in general.
You need a wide open space. You need to live in the right climate.
Yep.
You need to dig-proof everything.
Yeah. You need the proper diet. Like, yes, technically they are omnivores, but they are primarily carnivores. Like, yeah, you need all sorts of things. A lot of knowledge, a lot of expertise.
You need to make sure that there's a vet in your area that can take care of them.
Yep, this is true.
In a lot of states, they're illegal to own.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of people see exotic pets and think it's the coolest thing, and it's like...
They're exotic for a reason.
Yeah. An exotic pet is like a pair of nunchucks. It's really cool. It's really neat. And if you learn how to use them properly, you can be the most intimidating thing in the room.
Yep. Until that point, though.
Until that point... Well, not even until that point. Like, if you put in all that effort...
Yeah.
But you could be just as effective, if not more effective, by picking up a normal fucking stick.
Yeah.
Or a gun.
Yeah.
And just go to town.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really cool if you manage to pull it off, but it's a lot of work for something you could accomplish much easier a different route.
Yeah, it's a showmanship thing. Like, you wanna... It's like bragging rights, and that's about the extent of it. There's no practical reason for it. So this is Infinity.
God, this is a dungeon.
It sure is. We haven't even gotten to the part where it reuses the same staircase over and over. This is the part of the game that gets everybody to stop playing. Like, if you're going to stop playing this game, it is going to be either right around Evrai or Infinity. If you can break your way through the first half of Infinity, then you're probably good to go. But, like, fuck this dungeon.
I kinda like the idea of a mega dungeon.
Yeah.
But in practice, the only times I've ever sat down with a mega dungeon and really enjoyed it was when that's the game.
Yeah. That's... Oh, here's the infinite staircase.
Oh, good.
We get to go through this room multiple times. And there's at least one battle in each, like, just on the law of averages.
I'm just sitting here, and just by the way our schedule's lining up,
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking about Dark Souls.
Yep.
And I'm thinking about the killing of the first flame.
Uh-huh.
And how it's literally a hallway.
Yeah.
It's a really pretty hallway, but it's a hallway with about 6 or 7 dudes in it.
Yeah.
And that's the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah. The final dungeon in Breath of Fire 3 is very long, but it has really decent checkpoints, and you can... It also has shortcuts back to the entrance. And back to the ending, too.
I love a good shortcut porn.
Yeah, it's actually very Dark Souls-esque in that respect. Because you get key cards in it. And you go through doors. And those... Once you've got the key card for a certain door, you've got that door unlocked the whole time. And the door to the last part is hidden right in the first part.
See, I like that. I think keycards are overdone.
Yeah.
At the same time, That feels like this is a place where people, live and work and do their thing.
Yeah.
As opposed to this, which admittedly in lore isn't a place that people go in and out of willy-nilly.
Right. Yeah, people tend not to go through Infinity that often. Yeah, and Breath of Fire 4, I'm trying to remember the final dungeon and how it's structured. As I recall, it does not take that long to get through it in a general sense. Like, it's not that big. And I think once you do all the stuff that's necessary... Yeah, I think it has, if I remember correctly... I don't play BOF4 as much as I've played the other ones, but if I remember correctly, there's an elevator connecting everything.
Okay.
And it requires unlocking things from different sections, so it's kind of like BOF3 in that respect. And you just go down to the bottom floor, or some floor that's, like, just the end. And that's it. And so it's a lot easier.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter is all one dungeon. I mean, it's got towns interspersed, but, like, it feels like one dungeon.
Okay. Isn't all of Dragon Quarter underground or some shit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. They've gone underground because of some unnamed cataclysm, and they've created this society where people are judged based on their potential to be like a dragon.
God, that sounds like the worst.
They're given numbers, and those numbers are always fractions, and the bigger the fraction, the better, or the higher your rank in society. So your character starts out at like 1 out of 648 or something like that, and yeah, it's kind of crazy. You get a partner who's like 1 out of 36, and the final bosses are like 1 out of 4, 1 out of 6, like that kind of thing.
Here I was about to ask, is like the head honcho a 99 out of 100 or some shit?
No, I mean, well, okay, so there is a character who's 1 out of 2, and he's not the final boss. Actually, okay, so I'm not going to spoil too much, but like the numbers kind of get thrown out the window a little bit as the game goes on.
Dragon Ball power level.
Yeah,
let's go.
Like they judge your potential, and it turns out that their method of judging is wrong.
Because it's a Breath of Fire game, so guess what? Your character, like, is a fucking dragon.
No.
Oh.
You play as Ryu, and he has bluish hair, although it's very, very dark blue. And he gets possessed by a dragon. He isn't actually a dragon himself.
Oh, so the dragon is his stand.
Yeah, kind of. It's more like a transformation, but close enough, yeah. And I think you know that there's a counter, a timer in that game, where if it's constantly counting down, and if it reaches 100%, you lose the game. It is game over. That's because the dragon is slowly taking over. And if you get to 100%, you are now just that dragon.
Oh, okay.
You are no longer your main character. And that's a bad ending. It's a game over. So, yeah, Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter is interesting. It's just, there's a lot of mechanical problems, and it's way different than the other Breath of Fire games, and so the fans of this series kind of didn't like it.
See, that's always why I don't like games that go against, like, the establishment of the series.
Yeah.
Because it can be a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not what people were expecting, so they're going to hold it against them.
Yeah.
Like, Silent Hill's Shattered Memories is an incredible storytelling game.
Yep.
It's not a good Silent Hill, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's along those lines.
Like, the only reason why Silent Hill Shattered Memories still needed the Silent Hill name was because of the, like, really fucking bold tie-in decision.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna give people a legitimate spoiler warning, because if you haven't played Shattered Memories, or have seen somebody play Shattered Memories, go do it. I think it's on the virtual console or whatever the online system Nintendo is using now.
Okay.
It was originally a Wii game, or just go get it on the Wii if you still have a Wii. It's dirt cheap now.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole big gimmick with that is it's a sequel to the bad ending of Silent Hill 1.
Oh, okay.
Throughout the entire game, it's interspersed with these first-person sessions where you're at a psychologist or a psychiatrist.
Right, right.
And it turns out, at the end, the person talking to the psychiatrist isn't the main character.
Uh-huh.
It's Heather, the daughter. And this is a sequel to the ending of Silent Hill 1, where all of the events of... Oh, hello, Balrog.
Yeah. Freet.
Oh, hello, Old Iron King. Anyway, Shattered Memories is a sequel where it's following off of the ending where all of the events of Silent Hill were Harry Mason's fever dreams as he's dying after the car crash at the beginning of the game.
Oh.
So even though you play as Harry Mason in Shattered Memories, Harry Mason's dead.
Okay.
And what you're playing as is actually the psychic projection of his daughter, who is now fully grown. And it's not even an accurate representation of Harry Mason.
Uh-huh.
It's how she remembers him.
Okay.
But he died when she was 8.
Right.
So, her memory is flawed and fucked up and weird. And, on replay through the game, every time a character is about to go huh, yeah, I know Cheryl. She's 20. Or Harry Mason, isn't that guy that died in a car crash 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Every time somebody's about to piece things together, the world freezes over and then you have the run sequence.
Oh, damn.
And what's going on is the raw shocks are the psychiatrist trying to get through and be like, your father's dead.
Uh-huh.
You're dealing with complicated grief.
Damn, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool twist at the end. And it's a cool kind of twist where when you go back and replay, you suddenly start noticing everything.
Uh-huh.
And the fact that no matter what ending you get in Shattered Memories, the whole game is a sequel to one of the bad endings is the only reason why it still needs to be a Silent Hill game. But it's so different from Silent Hill games, it suffers for that difference.
Yeah.
Because in every Silent Hill game, it's survival horror as opposed to running horror.
Yeah, yeah.
And in that way, Shattered Memories is more like modern horror games, more like the Outlast model.
Right.
But it's such a weird game.
Yeah. I remember the Grumps playthrough of it, and they were really getting into it.
Yeah, it's really solid. The playthrough I watched of it, because I'm not busting my Wii back out.
Yeah, yeah.
Was the Best Friends, and the Best Friends are giant Silent Hill nerds. To the point where those are the guys that voice the Did You Know Gamings on Silent Hill.
Right.
They are considered go-to authorities on Silent Hill.
Yeah.
And Shattered Memories is, really fucking good. But it ain't a Silent Hill game.
Right. Yeah, I can't say Dragon Quarter is on the same tier, because it's not the best game. It has some serious mechanical flaws, which I think is one of the reasons it became so reviled. It didn't even have the redeeming qualities of just being a really fantastic game.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate. And the more unfortunate part is that fucking Capcom decided, oh, people don't want Breath of Fire. Even though it had very little to do with any of the other Breath of Fire games.
That is the most annoying corporate thing.
Yeah.
We're going to revitalize, we're going to refresh, we're going to take it in a new direction. And if people don't like it, the message isn't, they don't like the new direction.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess they just don't like the series anymore.
Yeah, it's stop thinking that. You're destroying things for people.
But you know what's the worst? The worst is Konami, where it's oh man, people are really hyped for this thing. Cancel.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck it.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all.
It's because
they had a problem with Kojima, I know.
The only thing I can say that makes sense is from a pure numbers perspective. If Metal Gear Solid 5 wasn't the huge uber success it was, it could have tanked the entire company.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, Kojima, you made it work this time, but it was like playing Russian roulette. Yeah, you got the click. That doesn't mean we want you to keep doing it.
I mean, so here's the thing. You can just rein him in. You could say, this is your budget, do with it what you will, and leave it at that. And if he can't do it, then yeah, I guess you can get rid of him. But like, don't tank every project out of spite once a person leaves because they don't get the budget they want.
So, playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
The trouble with Kojima was, he's one of the few rock star game developers.
That's true.
He has a huge public presence.
Yeah.
And if people try to rein him in, he can leverage that public presence.
That's true.
And get his fans to go nuts and make a lot of noise and put a lot of pressure on the company.
But wouldn't that also make sales increase with this drama?
It could, but it could also lead to him calling for boycotts and strikes and like, hey, there's this other Konami project coming out, threaten to get his fans to boycott it unless he gets more money.
Right.
And plus there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff we're not privy to.
Yeah. Yeah, from what I understand, they treated him like shit, though.
Oh, yeah, no. Like, I'm playing devil's advocate here. Konami was awful.
Yeah.
Like, every report I heard from Konami was just like, it's the fucking worst. But playing devil's advocate, he went ludicrously over budget. He wasn't even done yet. Like, there was so much more. Like, the ending sequence alone
was going to be ridiculously expensive, yeah.
Would have added, like, another quarter to the budget. It was so absurd. It would have been awesome.
Yep.
But, like, holy shit, it would introduce new mechanics entirely. Like, you would have all these mechanics based around coordinating your forces. Suddenly amassing a huge army would matter, and then the game has to remember all of the people you've recruited, render them all, deal with all the equipment you got, and all the variables that go into this would have been madness.
Yeah. And it would have been awesome.
It would have been awesome. It would have been the fucking coolest.
Yep. Resources.
Yeah. But it's like, no. That's too much. That's really too much.
Yeah.
And we have no idea what he had planned for Silent Hills.
Yeah.
Like,
other than that, it was probably going to be awesome.
Yeah, well, it had the fucking dream team. And now they're going off to do Death Stranding, which I've seen gameplay and I still don't know what the fuck I'm looking at.
Yep, that seems to be the general consensus.
I'm going to buy it. I'm going to play it. I have no idea what I'm getting other than it's Kojima at the helm. And at their worst, Kojima games are playable.
Yeah.
Like, they work, they function.
Yep.
They're weird and goofy and have some dumb bullshit. Like, look at the codec number on the back of the instruction manual, weird bullshit.
Yep.
But it always functions at the very least. And Norman Reedus is a good actor.
Yep. And Guillermo del Toro is a good director.
Yeah, and does really amazing creature design.
Yep.